The rain poured down in relentless sheets as Mark, a single dad, locked up his small diner for the night. He was exhausted, balancing his late shifts with caring for his 7-year-old daughter, Lily. That's when he saw her, stumbling across the street, heels clacking on the wet asphalt. It was Ms. Anderson, his boss, the CEO of the chain he worked for, clearly drunk and struggling to keep her balance. Without thinking, Mark ran over and steadied her. "You shouldn't be out here like this," he said, guiding her gently to his car. She mumbled something incoherent, but clung to his arm like he was her lifeline. Driving her home was tense, her words slurred, her apologies heavy with shame. Mark could feel the weight of her reputation and his own, a single dad doing the right thing, while the world judged. When they arrived, she barely remembered how she got inside. Mark tucked her in, made sure she had water, and quietly left, his heart pounding. It wasn't heroism, it was simply the right thing to do. The next morning, a soft knock on his door startled him. Ms. Anderson was standing there, hair messy, eyes clear for the first time since last night. "Why did you help me?" she asked, her voice trembling. That one question shattered Mark's carefully ordered life. His kindness, something he had always considered ordinary, now carried consequences he hadn't imagined. Mark swallowed hard, unsure of what she meant, but inside he felt something shift, something that would change both their lives forever. Mark froze, staring at Ms. Anderson standing awkwardly on his doorstep. She looked vulnerable, far from the confident CEO everyone saw in the office. I don't understand," she admitted, her voice low. "Why would you help me last night? You barely know me." Mark shifted uncomfortably. "I don't know, it just seemed like the right thing. You were in trouble." He hesitated, glancing toward Lily's bedroom window where the curtains fluttered. His daughter's small world depended on him, and he didn't want complications. Ms. Anderson's eyes softened. "Most people would have just driven past me. Or called someone else. But you didn't. You helped me." There was a pause, and then she smiled faintly, almost ashamed. "I've been so busy, so focused on work, I forgot what it meant to be human." Mark nodded slowly, realizing her admission wasn't just about the previous night. It was a rare crack in her armor, a glimpse of someone struggling beneath perfection. "We all forget sometimes," he said. "Sometimes the smallest kindness makes the biggest difference." She looked down at the floor, then back up at him. "I owe you," she whispered. Mark felt his chest tighten. He didn't want anything in return, not from her, not from anyone. His life was already complicated enough. But he couldn't ignore the shift between them, a fragile connection born from his simple act of compassion. That day at work, Ms. Anderson's behavior subtly changed. She noticed Mark more, listened more, and surprisingly, she began asking questions about his life outside the diner. Mark felt exposed but also seen. It was strange, unsettling, and yet comforting. Little did he know that one night of selflessness was about to unlock a chain of events that would challenge everything he thought he knew about luck, opportunity, and the quiet power of kindness. Over the next week, Mark tried to keep life normal. Lily still demanded her bedtime stories, the diner still needed his energy, and bills still piled up. But Ms. Anderson's presence lingered in his mind like a shadow he couldn't shake. Then came the unexpected email. She wanted to meet, not at the office, but somewhere neutral. "I want to talk about last night," it read. Mark hesitated. What could a CEO possibly want with him? Fear, curiosity, and a strange flicker of hope wrestled inside him. They met at a small cafe downtown, away from the prying eyes of staff and coworkers. Ms. Anderson arrived first, composed yet clearly anxious. When Mark sat down, she smiled, a real smile, stripped of boardroom armor. "I've been thinking about last night," she began, her fingers fiddling with her coffee cup. "You didn't just help me home, you reminded me that kindness still exists in this world. I see now that I've been so wrapped up in success that I forgot what matters." Mark felt his throat tighten. "I just did what anyone would have," he said, though he knew he had risked his dignity, his routines, even his small comfort to help her. She leaned closer, voice dropping. I want to offer you something, a position, a real opportunity at the company. But more than that. Her eyes met his, unwavering. I want to make sure you and Lily have a life you deserve. Not out of pity, but because you showed me what true humanity looks like. Mark blinked, stunned. The thought of stability, of being able to give Lily more than just survival, it was overwhelming. Yet something in him resisted. He wasn't looking for charity. He had always believed in earning everything the hard way. But Ms. Anderson's sincerity was undeniable. That one night of compassion was now turning into something far bigger than either of them had imagined, and Mark realized his life was about to change forever, whether he was ready or not. The following days were a whirlwind for Mark. Ms. Anderson's offer hung over him like both a blessing and a test. He wrestled with doubt. Could he trust her intentions? Was this truly kindness, or just a way to repay him for embarrassment? Yet every encounter with her now carried warmth and genuine curiosity. She asked about Lily's school, about his life at the diner, and even about the small dreams he had quietly buried. One afternoon, Ms. Anderson invited him to her office. As he entered, Mark noticed a photo on her desk, a younger version of her with a woman holding a child. She looked up, meeting his eyes. I didn't have someone like you when I was struggling, she said softly. That night, you reminded me that life isn't just about climbing ladders or chasing titles. It's about moments like this, small acts that define who we are. Mark felt a lump in his throat. He realized she wasn't offering just a job or financial support. She was offering trust, respect, and a chance at something more than mere survival. Then came the twist. Ms. Anderson slid a folder across the desk. I've been reviewing candidates for a managerial role at one of our biggest locations. Your dedication, your honesty, your heart, it all stood out to me. I want you to lead. And more than that. She hesitated, then smiled gently. I want to make sure Lily never has to worry about anything again. Consider this not charity, but a life-changing opportunity earned through your integrity. Mark felt tears prick his eyes. A single night of compassion, something he thought would be forgotten, had opened doors he never dreamed of. It wasn't just luck, it was proof that kindness, no matter how small, can ripple through lives in ways we can't anticipate. As he left the office, Mark knew one thing: the world might be harsh, but it also had room for heroes, quiet, selfless, everyday heroes who changed lives without expecting anything in return. Mark drove home that evening with a strange lightness in his chest. For the first time in years, he felt a future that wasn't just survival. Lily bounced in the passenger seat, oblivious to the weight of adult decisions, but sensing something had changed. Daddy, are we going somewhere fun? She asked, her eyes wide. Mark smiled, ruffling her hair. Something even better, pumpkin. A new beginning. The next day, he walked into the new branch of the company, not as a lowly employee, but as a manager entrusted with responsibility. Staff greeted him warmly, impressed by the sincerity and quiet confidence he brought with him. Ms. Anderson was there, her smile full of pride, not the intimidating CEO anymore, but a mentor and someone who had seen his heart when the world looked away. Life settled into a new rhythm. Lily's laughter filled spaces that used to echo with worry. Mark still worked hard, but now he had support, security, and the freedom to dream bigger. He realized the truth of that rainy night. A single act of kindness could ignite change, not just for someone else, but for yourself as well. One evening, as he tucked Lily into bed, she whispered, Daddy, you're my hero. Mark hugged her tight, feeling tears threaten but holding them back. He had never imagined that helping someone would return blessings tenfold. And Ms. Anderson? She became more than a boss. She became a reminder that even in the coldest, most calculated worlds, humanity could shine. She often checked in, offered guidance, and sometimes just shared a quiet smile, acknowledging the bond forged in a single act of selflessness. Mark learned something profound. Life doesn't reward us for being perfect, or for ambition alone. It rewards us for being kind, brave, and human. And in that truth, he found not just success, but peace, and a life where he and Lily could truly thrive.